Would you join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, a change in the agenda. The meeting at 10 o'clock, conference call is canceled. Nobody's ready yet. They'll let us know when it's time, and we'll go from there. It's possible that we may be able to have the conference call after or towards the end of the meeting on Wednesday morning, or it may be next week. We'll just have to, on Monday. We'll just have to see. Like Carl said, everybody, we're having a debriefing at noon. I'm sure pizza or sandwiches being provided. That's at HESDA. I did get clarification on the, where did I write that? Hang on a second. At any rate, there's a letter of intent that the ESDA department is making for the generator. It is not approved. It is not approved. We have to, by July 17th, have a letter of intent to purchase or for a grant.
Exactly what it is.
Right.
Okay.
And Jim is giving them the specifications and getting back to her, and she will take care of getting that sent in, so just like Brockton did, and we'll go from there. The money will not be competitively available until the fall, but she's assured that we're up there as far as the availability of the funds, but there's no commitment yet to us.
So you say the money will be there in the fall, or?
Whatever brick money is available will be there in the fall.
So there's a chance we may not.
That's
we
correct.
may not get it.
That's
Okay.
correct. But that's where we set on it.
Okay.
But she felt confident that we probably would. So if you want to go out there at noon, you'd be more than welcome to. We need to talk, I think, about this letter first before we get into the department. Augie and I have asked that Mrs. Wilson at Castle Finn send us a letter exactly what she wants, so we have it formal. And you send it up to the state's attorney, who's
Yeah.
reviewing it,
Yes.
and will make a recommendation to the board on how they might correct the current licenses or whether it falls under an existing license, right?
Correct.
So I didn't know whether you had a chance to read it. It's pretty straightforward, and, you know, beer and wine, you know, is what she's asking for instead of just wine. So we'll go from then, and if you have any discussion about how you feel about that, or whether it would need to be up front, it
Yeah, I just handed it out.
Yeah. You didn't get one?
should be in that file. There it is.
Yeah.
You
So
just
she
passed
can,
it. Carl, it's the second page down, isn't it? On that list, right there.
Yeah, but where's the letter?
That's what I'm talking
the
about. There
letter
it is.
was on you.
I don't have it.
That's Russell's letter.
Okay, then,
Well, I'll get you a copy.
I thought it was just under your agenda there, Carl.
I've read it.
It's on there.
The second page down is not it?
Sonia?
Oh, okay. That's Sonia,
Have my call.
right there.
Okay.
You got three of them now, bud. Hold on, Ron.
What?
Just to sum that up real quick,
Yeah,
the winery license, which is what they originally had, obviously was just for wine.
right.
Then they were granted a special event license
Right.
so that they could sell all alcohol when there's a special event. And so she wants to be able to sell beer on non-special event days.
Right.
And so, which is her normal hours, and because she thinks that it's an unfair advantage to her neighbor, which is South Fork Homestead.
Well,
Who we just recently gave them permission to serve beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we changed our licenses where they fell under one of the licenses.
A restaurant license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're just, I mean, I guess the only thing I think is unfair, I mean, we didn't do anything,
No.
yeah,
No.
I mean, she just needed to ask
Right,
us.
across the,
Yeah.
I'm not saying much, but all she didn't do is ask.
Well,
So anyway.
South Fork has a restaurant anyway.
So that's what I was gonna say, so the other part of this then is defining restaurant?
Well, we,
Maybe.
maybe, or we just changed the wine license to a beer and wine license, okay?
That seems simpler to me.
Right, that's all.
Tim hoped that he would be able to let me know something just prior to the meeting on Wednesday, so anything I get, obviously, I'll pass that along, but
On the audit, Augie and I are trying to arrange for a folk conference or a visit from Shum, from Whiffley, to talk about the audit with us. We were gonna put it on the agenda, but they're all on a sabbatical, not a sabbatical, they're on a training meeting out in Hawaii or something.
Vegas. No, it's Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Okay, from what we paid.
So they're not available this week, is what that's.
Well, not to brag, but while the power was out, I dragged my recliner onto the front porch and read the whole frickin' thing.
Really?
Yes.
That probably is the first time that any of us have read it all the way through.
And I don't even enjoy that kind of thing, but
No.
I did make several notes and had questions, and you can probably answer them all if you wanna give me another tutorial. But if I'm available, I'd like to be in on the call.
Oh, it'll be for the whole board.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be at a study session, hopefully a study session.
All right.
And then we'll have a board meeting where we put it on the agenda to accept it. Okay? So everybody will have full opportunity to ask questions, okay? Let's see, I gotta check things off. Let's talk about insurance a little bit. So your committee, right now we have 3 claims. The adjuster talked to Jeff, and I didn't know it and nobody else did. But Jeff has been in contact, the adjuster called
Jeff Wood?
Jeff Wood.
Okay.
So, at this point, we withdrew, we had John Tingley go up and take a look at the jail. And he determined that there wasn't much damage up there, that he could temporarily patch that
At the jail?
at the jail.
Okay.
He put it on the list, it wasn't gonna do much damage. Might get a little leaking in that one area, what is that, over the, I'm trying to think where that's at. What's underneath where the shingles are missing, Russ? At any rate,
That would
It
be,
should be a cell block,
yeah, that would be
so,
upstairs cell
the
block.
the very tallest
Yeah,
part of
it's,
that building.
yeah, right.
Okay.
And it's so steep
Yeah,
that
it's
it's,
tough.
well, that's what he says,
Yeah.
that's the big issue. But he said
you know, if it was like this,
Yeah, they didn't.
a grand or two would take
well, like
care
I
of it.
told you, we might be better off not to file a claim because of the deductible and everything. We could,
Right.
Well, here's the deal that you and I and none of us knew, that Jeff said, the adjuster said that they combine all 4 of our claims into one claim.
really, well, that's,
That's a good
So,
deal, it's that one
we-
deductible then.
Right, that's what he, so that would be, and I can't remember whether the deductible is 5 or 25, okay? But we've got the health department with some damage. We've got the airport, which I went out and looked at, they've got it all cleaned up and skinned down to stuff that's not damaged. So there's some trusses, the west end of that hangar needs to be replaced. You know, but the main beams are fine, the steel girders are fine. But it's all looks halfway decent, and obviously there's gonna have to be some metal that's replaced and so forth, but it's a lot better than what it looked like the first time I went out there. Let's see, health department, okay, then the sheriff's office and obviously the tower had some damage to it also. Michael is gonna be out tomorrow morning He's gonna be in town tonight, and he wants to meet out there. They've got the lift, and he wants to go inspect the outside and inside, so he knows, just to double check the inside. They don't expect there's any damage, but to make sure there's no structural damage. Anybody's invited out in the morning to, see what's going on. He thought he'd be there about 6:30, 7 o'clock, so I just wanted to go ahead.
What the adjusters, are they okay with Michael doing the work, or?
I have no idea. I have not talked to the adjuster. I've not talked to Jeff.
Okay,
I just got word through Augie about this situation, and through Josh. What they've said, what JR told us this morning, was to go ahead and get whatever bid or necessary to start to take a look at what needed to be done.
okay.
And of course, that's part of what Michael's coming out tomorrow for, is to take a look and see exactly what needs to be done and how bad that it is. And they said that, but I thought it was good news that they were gonna combine it,
Yeah, that part's good,
okay?
yeah.
Is that related? Okay, Augie?
That sounds accurate. Yep.
Just wanted to double check
Yep.
myself. So anyway, that's two things that you can attend. On the front of the labor issues, the memorandum of understanding is going through. They finally have assigned an interim person to take Bill's place. Bill Jarvis represented the unions, and the memorandum of understanding is being gone back and forth with. Rick also said that he asked the sheriff for a letter of intent to negotiate to make sure everything was clear, and he tried to set something up with this new guy as soon as he could. Now, when you say new guy, he said, I've worked with this guy, I know him, so it's not like our attorney doesn't have some rapport with this guy. So they work together and they've worked apart, so. Health insurance, I talked to Andy about this last week. I talked to Kurt this morning. He was on vacation too last week. So he hasn't heard anything. They're still cranking out the numbers. But the initial increase on health insurance was 11.65. But he thought that we've gone back twice sometimes, so.
Right.
But that's what we're looking at. He said a lot of agencies have gotten as much as a 25% increase. So, at any rate, he said our rate is still, and experience is still very good. In fact, it's getting better by the year. So, just to let you know that.
In your conversation with him, did you bring up about the family,
Yes.
that issue?
There's
and
a-
see
and
what
I-
we could do about that?
Yeah, and remind me of this, and what he's talking about is a supplemental policy to it that might offer us. That's what Martin was telling me from the city. They somehow lowered some of their prices by doing a supplement to the insurance policy. So let's not forget that. But he was gonna look into other ways, but
Okay.
our policies are about the same cost as the cities. So we do need to look at that. And he is aware of it.
Okay.
I did not ask him how much, and I haven't seen how much they increased. We'll get that as soon as we can. Sheriff's Annex, do you wanna talk about that, or do you want me to, since I'm up to date on it?
Go ahead, yeah, I've been out of town.
We had a bid for what, $3,900 to do the striping and sealing and all that. I think it was like $3,900. At any rate, they were gonna start last week, so they gave us like 12-hour notice, and I was in Canada. Anyway, Jimmy went out and let them know, the workers that still work for Diamond, so, but it got put off last week. It's not gonna happen this week. It may happen next week, and it'll definitely happen by the week after that. That's what the guy says. So, just in case somebody says something, by the way, Dirt Corps is gonna spray around the lot, killing all the weeds and everything. And then, so at any rate, we're on track. And we've communicated with Diamond Brothers, okay? Now, the other place, Neil Tire, they're handling their own differently. If you want to stay at about 10:30, or anybody can stay, I'm sorry, I should have said that differently. The WTHI is gonna be here at 10:30 to interview us about the damage at the courthouse and, you know, some of the things that happened due to the storm. So as building committee chairman, if you wanted to be here, we could talk to them. That's up to you. I just got
I'm not
it,
dressed up if I'm not.
well, I didn't know you were gonna come as a beach bum. See, I didn't wear my fishing gear in here.
A little bit late last night.
Okay, Michael, I've gone through letter of intent, we've got tax bills. Did you wanna, the tax bills, we've had a glitch in the system, and the tax bills are not gonna come out when we thought would they. The multiplier, which is, what is it, what's the multiplier?
The new multiplier is 1.0377, and the system reloads from last year at a 1. And so we've had a 1 for a number of years,
Yep.
and it just, quite honestly, it was just, and it's just one of those things that happened. So the CIC, technology people talk like it was not a big deal. They go back in and change a number, and we've got a few closing steps to do, but that shouldn't take, well, it won't take a half a day. It shouldn't take, you know.
Well,
So,
anyway,
we're close.
yeah, the timing of the tax bills may be off a little bit, so.
So 1.037, so that's a 3.7%. What's that equate to?
Well, on $100, it'd be $3 and,
So it's a 3.7% increase.
yeah, and that's put on there by the state. I
Yep.
mean, and there was an
Yep.
article on that, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple, I think. So this is not a secret, it's just a secret, or it's just come up again because the multiplier was missed in its accuracy, so we're getting it corrected. Augie, do you have anything at this point?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Take her away.
No, I probably should have a lot, I don't know.
That's all right.
I don't have much. I have been working with Jerry Branson on the lights in the back.
Being too
bright. Too bright. He said, why don't you give me her name? And he'd call her, talk to her, and so he did, and he goes, I'll make her happy. And I said, that's all I want. So, other than that, I did go down in there the other day, and it's dried up considerably down there, even after the rain, even after the first rain. I haven't been here for this week. I checked my rain gauge, and I couldn't see the little red line. That's because it was cleared at the top and overflowed. I don't know how much rain we get.
I don't either.
That's over 5 inches.
A bunch, real
A bunch. So I need to go down and check that.
So the roof's working too,
Hopefully.
And indoor swimming pool.
which begs the thing about moving into that building, and I've been trying to get a hold of Donnie, and he hasn't answered me, even to acknowledge about the deal with the parking lot. But with them not vacating that one office till they move, Don really can't move over there yet, because that end office across from, well, you know, that one that has 2 doors on the corner, has both hallways, see, they're still using that. So I don't know whether we want to split anybody up, especially at tax time and with all the other things. Nothing has to really be said right now or made a decision, but I don't see how we can do the moving when we can't move it. We either move some or all or nothing, I think, at this point. I mean, otherwise, it's just gonna be a confusing mess. And if Don doesn't have an office, I don't know.
Okay,
We just need to talk to him about it.
yeah,
Okay?
we'll discuss those.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
that's it.
how about a mush report?
I'll let Russell start. He saw the thing on Facebook, had an issue over the weekend at the shelter, so he went out there first, because I don't get on the internet very often, so I'll let him start, and I'll finish up.
Andrea had a 21 dog husky horde
Were they little
rescued.
No,
There was all
those,
yeah,
except one pup.
ones?
Two pups.
21?
21. So we went out, checked on her, see what if there's anything we could get her, do for her. That she had a ton of volunteers. The husky rescue representative was there coordinating everybody to take care of the dogs they already had, so the workers could take care of the new ones, getting them cleaned up. Talked to her about scheduling. She'd already had appointments made for spade and neuter. Saying about getting some additional help, volunteers there to transport dogs. The other thing I was trying to talk to Dan about was rescheduling our committee meeting,
We just canceled it.
which,
It's supposed to be tomorrow, so she's too busy.
and this is her short staff week upon other problems.
She did hire a couple part-time people to help her, so, yeah.
Yeah, but last couple of weeks, anywhere you look, it's been a tough couple of 2.5 weeks. If it's not this, it's that. Between the storm and,
Yeah, I didn't get the message. Russell texted me, but on my flip phone, I didn't go all the way up. I didn't see about the dogs and all that, so
We've smoothed out how to
we
communicate.
took care of that. So I happened to drive by there yesterday afternoon. I saw all the activity, so I just stopped to see what was going on. So I pulled in there, and they were unloading some food that somebody had donated.
There were bags upon bags walking in when we were
Yeah,
there.
they're carrying food in. She put something on Facebook that she could use some help, and got a good response. So,
One of the part-time people is staying up on communications, public.
kind of young, Stacy's at the one.
I
Is it young?
No.
She hired 2 part-time people to
I can't think
help.
of her name.
She took me through the shelter to see the animals, and she's, and it's deafening. It was all lined up, all of them were adults. Not good shape, so she does have an appointment in Terre Haute to get 10 of them fixed today, 10 of the 21, so she will not give us the name of the person or where the animals came from, which I didn't ask anyways. This particular time, while we're worried about the dog, probably be a lawsuit or something, or some arrest or something, but she said she couldn't get in the house. These are all on the outside of the house, and she couldn't get in the house, see if there's any more inside of the house. But did a great job, got a lot of help, and that's the main thing, and get the animals taken care of.
She does a really good
does.
job on Facebook, and then she has quite a few people who are really dedicated to
Right.
sharing it on Facebook,
She has
so.
that one thing in the paper every week with
Mhm.
a dog that adopts. She has one lady volunteer that's out there all the time. I don't know her name, but she's walked the dog. She takes really good care of the animals.
I'll pass along the board's appreciation.
Yeah.
You know, when they do the Parisian Awards for the Chamber of Commerce,
She would be,
yeah.
like mentioned, yeah.
And also, if there's I don't know, their volunteer, I think is on Chamber Business, but it just seems like there ought to be a way to give Andrea some of the recognition that she and her team deserve.
She has not slept all, she looked really tired. She hadn't slept all that night, so. I told her how great a job she did. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at, so I'll keep you informed on what we're gonna do. Hopefully she can get rid of them. I mean, I hate to see you have to put down any dogs. To me, that'd be the last straw. I mean, she may not some may be too mean to do anything with, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
Since
Some
they're
of them
feral.
are feral.
Yeah, one was trying to chew the gate up when I was in there, so we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. Any other questions of Dan or Russ on this issue? Russ, do you have anything?
About the courthouse damage, we need to thank Joshua for staying on, getting everybody coordinated, and Ray getting the lights timed and the clock retimed, and getting the yard picked up. That all come together in a timely manner after the power come back on. Power come back on, what, Saturday night, I believe?
Friday or Saturday night?
I can't remember when I texted you guys that it was
When I went
on,
out to dinner.
but Ray was right on it. Getting the air fans set up to circulate air inside in case there was any moisture. Other than that, I can't think of anything.
Carl?
Last Thursday after the storm hit that afternoon, Russ and Andy, they were up there, and I was driving by the courthouse, and so we got out and looked over everything and talked about this and that. Later on, right after we did all that, I went out to the ESDA because the operations center was going, and there was police, fire chief, hospital, ambulance. Chrisman ambulance was there, health, 3 people from health department was there, then Jeff, he stopped in.
Yeah, I was out.
We were out there for like 3 hours
Yep.
doing it. Oh, and Aaron Lawson and Josh, they were there, so, you know, there was a lot of people there coordinating everything. Of course, then Friday morning, we went, the building committee, and Lisa was there. We met with the Corps people. They sent someone from Peoria down to see about button up where the damage was up there. They got all that done by afternoon. I think Ray was there too. And I know Friday morning, Dusty was there. The one tree by the fountain fell down. It fell right at the edge of the fountain. It didn't do any damage to the fountain. Then on the other side, some tree limbs fell down and it wasn't a power line, but I'm not sure what line it took down. And it was out in the street. Of course, then the building right beside the annex, part of the roof fell off of that, and it was out in the middle of the street. They got pushed off over on the sidewalk. And I think Monday morning, the city was there cleaning that up. I know Saturday morning, Ray was up there cleaning out the pond, or the fountain. Had limbs and tree leaves and stuff in it. And he said that he checked the courthouse, because it leaked in the courthouse, and we got damage up by the state's attorney's office on the roof inside in the building. But one of the things that Corps did while they were there, buttoning it up, was try to seal, well, Creeling was doing that too, but seal all that up where possible the water was coming in. And he said Saturday morning, as far as he can tell, they must have got it all sealed up good, because there was no sign of any more water coming in. So he got that done. Saturday morning, I went to stop the airport. You know, Jeff talked about the damage up there. I talked to Dave at the airport, and he was still picking up nails and just all kinds of stuff, because he said stuff was everywhere. I talked to the guy that had the hangar damage. They just got his plane out of there. It received a little bit of damage, nothing major, but they was able to get it out, move stuff around to get it out, and they put it in the main hangar. For now, you know, his insurance company, you know, have to come and check on it and all that kind of stuff. So I was up there for over an hour talking to him. There was another tenant of the airport that was there, and talked to him a little bit. Then I went to Chrisman, drove through Hume, Metcalf, Brockton, to see all the damage up there. And I think I mean, I drove everywhere in the county. Brockton was the worst hit of anybody. I mean, it was a disaster area. It was by far the worst.
I was there twice, and of course, you got there Christmas.
Saturday morning.
Okay, but
I mean,
Friday,
I-
some of the places got cleaned up.
Well, yeah, but you could tell, you just tell where the damage was. And it was, they hadn't much been done in Brockton on Saturday morning, some, but not, but there was more damage as far as trees on houses and stuff like that. I know there was a trailer, there was a tree on it and the garage and, but I went again Saturday and things just like totally different to look at it. And that house didn't have trees on it anymore and people were happy. But they were still cleaning it up in Brockton. They had a tractor hooked onto a tree pulling it down the street. It's kind of funny. I don't know where they were taking it to, but they were just, I watched it several blocks going around, but, and there's the fertilizer company, seed company there at the west edge, you know, half of that roof was off. And when I was, Saturday before on 49, it was shut down. I wasn't sure why, I figured it's power lines. But I went up there this Saturday and drove up to 36 and there's 2 to 3 mile of new poles put in the ground that they had to replace. And someone told me that they were all leaning over from the storm. And that's why the highway was shut down, because of that.
The poor mayor he was going on a scheduled vacation. We were out there talking to him when he was getting ready to leave. And I hope he had a good time because he was not looking forward to it.
Right, no. But they've done pretty good. I mean, there's still limbs piled up, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's looked totally different in a week's time, you know, the neighbors and everybody come together and help with the cleanup and everything. And then on that first Saturday, I was coming back on the Horace Brockton Road and I saw Jim Bennett's van in Horace and I stopped to talk to him because Thursday of the storm, the jail lost power and the generator didn't kick on. And see, we had that problem 2 weeks ago, or 2 months ago. And that was another issue where the generator, the battery backups didn't work. And they found out there was problems with that. They ordered all new equipment, but it hadn't been put in yet. But Jim told me that it's in now, but they gotta coordinate to get them put in. I said, well, while there's obviously a problem, you know, here in 2 months, 2 different times, the 911s went down, you know, the jails, I mean, the whole jail, there was no power or nothing. So, but Jim, the 911 coordinator got hold of Jim that Thursday, and he got right up there and messed with switches and got it going again. And it was like a day and a half, they ran on the generator before the power come back on. But he said that there's evidently a problem with one of the switches, but they can't do anything until they get the battery backup equipment installed. Then when they get that installed, then we can get the generator people over and with him try to figure out what the problem is. And I said, well, we need to get on that. So I'm going to talk to her today and see if she's getting the battery backup people here to get all that installed so we can get things going.
Oh, you mean Nan?
Yeah. So that's about all I have.
Yeah, traveling through all the villages, it's amazing that really nobody was hurt.
Yeah, that's.
It's,
yeah,
thank God, most communities had 1 or 2 facilities or houses that
Right.
had damage,
Mhm.
but everybody, you could see it. The neighbors were all pulled
Right.
together and everybody was working and
Mhm.
taking care of business, so.
I know that Thursday night, the concern was that with so many people without a power, you know, people like on oxygen or had health, you know, equipment and stuff, if they didn't have a generator, how are they gonna get their oxygen? So they coordinated with the fire department and out at the training center that has a generator. And they opened that up, and there were some people showed up there, and the health department went out there and manned it.
Yep.
And people had to call the sheriff's department to, if they had issues, then they were told to go out to the training center. So at least there was some place where they could get power for their medical needs.
Anything else? Phil,
No. I've heard enough.
Lisa?
No.
Oh, jeez.
You got to hold the table.
Look into this.
Chamber of Commerce quarterly meeting that we go to is tomorrow, which I probably will not be able to attend. And I said to Linda Lane that probably the issue that would affect them the most, or that they wanted to know about, would have to do with the courthouse. And Carrie does an excellent job, so read the paper.
Okay. I wanted to remind you that some of the stuff that's involved with the conference call is gonna be talking about, and we're gonna need to make a decision on whether we want them to put another set of scaffolding up, and so we don't hold up what's going on versus, you know, depending on what Creeling said and what they can do and when they can do it. And that's all the information that they're trying to come up with, as well as costs and so forth. And then Michael, with him coming here tomorrow, will be able to ascertain what needs to be done for damage, and he's consulting with Creeling on that, so that we know what that is gonna cost and get an estimate to the insurance company.
So when you say about Creeling, you're talking about the Mason.
That's, Autobahn is
Oh,
Mason, that's really the hangup. to
Okay, I'm
determine
sorry.
Whether or not
Yeah.
we put
But I think-
scaffolding up, but yeah.
Creeling is dealing with Audubon.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So
Forward
that'll
group,
be,
yeah.
at any rate, that's basically all I have. Also,
I got
yes.
one more thing.
Oh, go for it.
I know people aren't gonna wanna hear this, but we need to seriously think about and look into what we're gonna do about all the trees we have in the courthouse yard. I counted them yesterday, there's around 30 trees in the courthouse yard. 30.
Isn't it amazing though that the one that we all agreed on the other day should come down, came
Fell
down?
down.
Yeah,
That is usually
Yeah.
happens.
Well,
But that one scraggly tree by the fountain,
right,
we go,
but,
oh, but it is, Carl's right.
Yeah.
well, the oaks, I mean, they're relatively stable. Those are linden
the ones on the
on the
outside,
outside, and they were never meant to get that old.
yeah, they were put in the early 70s.
Yeah, and they're not, they weren't to be a tree that gets that old, and they're gonna really be, well, that one, and they obviously got disease, but they,
Right,
You're right.
yeah.
right,
The
they need to
linden
be,
trees are nice, but
that's not.
Yeah.
there's no sight line to the
Yeah.
courthouse.
Yeah, and I was talking to a guy the other day from Montezuma, who was talking about, you got a gem of a courthouse, but he kind of mentioned, kind of hard to see. And, you know, it's the fact, you know, here we are spending all this money, and you know, I was thinking, you know, the oak trees, you know, they're pretty stable as far as I know. Some of them are growing right up against the building,
Yeah, they're-
and, you know, if they put more scaffolding up, we're gonna have to cut
Especially on the east
You're gonna
side.
have to
trim of it out,
They
but,
definitely are, yeah.
but I was thinking if one of them big trees fell on the courthouse, on the building itself, you're gonna have structure damage. And how are we gonna fix, that would be a
Major,
job.
major
Right.
deal.
So we need, the building committee, we need to get together and talk about it and maybe get some type of plan, you know, how we can improve things a little bit up there. So, just be, and Wednesday when you go, you know, when you go in the courthouse, just walk around the thing and just kind of look and see what you think.
Some of them are too close. You
Right.
should,
Yeah,
you don't want them out on the outside, but you don't want them that close to the building. They need to be,
yeah. Well, I know back when I was sheriff, David Dick planted some trees, but they were away from the building and out on the kind of the four corners. But I noticed one of them on the, I forget now which corner, it's growing up against the window and it's flat on one side.
They will.
So something needs to be done.
There's a couple of maples that are nice, and those are fairly stable, but
Yeah.
Hard
we
maples.
do have, yeah, not, yeah. Now, don't forget, we've got Nancy, who could take a look and say, okay, if you do this, this, and this, then that's gonna optimize how the
Yeah.
courthouse looks. I mean, it's
Yeah.
at least,
Who,
That we-
how long ago did they do this report? I remember them doing something,
Well, they did an initial one before I got on the board,
okay?
but then we revisited it because there were some grants out there and we had to have something for that grant. And we applied but didn't get it. And I said something to Josh about it. He goes, well, you apply every year.
Okay.
And I said,
Did they, in their reports, did they have anything about the trees and stuff?
he had a master plan
Yeah,
on the
he did.
trees.
Who's got that report?
Probably Josh, or,
Okay.
yeah, we can dig that.
We
We need to dig that up and
we'll get-
see, you know,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
what it looked like.
okay.
I think that's important, Carl.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. That's it.
Anything else, guys and gal?
You can call me Guy, it's okay.
I
That's
know,
a generic
but you know,
term.
some of the folks though, when I say, well, let's go, guys, well, we're not guys, so I don't, anyway,
Don't worry about me.
I won't. What?
She's not like that.
No, okay.
She's one of the men.
Motion to adjourn?
Man's woman.
Andy, Russ, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Let the guys out here. Want to say anything? Or Russ, do you wanna get on camera?